So we're gonna start at 21. See if you guys remember this. 1, negative 21, 20. So 21 is missing the x squared term. So I'll write it down like this for now. Okay, do you guys remember how many answers this should have normally? Three. Or it definitely has 3 factors. How do we find the possible answers? Well, factors.
Oh, 20 over.
Factors of 20 over factors of 1. So what goes into 20?
1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 8.
And 1. So it's 1 over 1, 2 over 1, 4 over 1, 5 over. So it's plus, and remember it was positive or negative. Those things. I don't think the book's going to be like giving us the bigger answers. So
just stop it.
I think like 5 is, I mean, technically it could be 10 or 20, but I don't think they're going to make it that big. So, then we just kind of plug stuff in and see what works, and if I remember right, I think right off the bat it works. So I'm going to do synthetic here because not only do we need to see if it works, we kind of need to divide. If 1 is an answer, x minus 1 is a factor, and we kind of need to divide by x minus 1. So we're kind of seeing if it's an answer and dividing at the same time with synthetic division. Add down, multiply up.
Wait, why is there 2 plus 5
Oh, I don't know. Just put through 20. Okay, so this tells me 1 is an answer, and it also means that x minus 1 is a factor. And on this problem, we were actually putting like the factors instead of just the answers. Okay, and then this stuff down here, this leftover stuff, contains our last 2 answers. How do we get the last 2 answers? We could still keep plugging stuff in and see if it works, but since it's just a quadratic equation, we can factor it or use quadratic formula if we have to. What multiplies into negative 20 that adds up to positive 1?
Plus 5 and negative 4.
Okay, so if the question had been, what are the zeros of the function, what are the roots of the function, my answer would have been negative 5, positive 4, and from earlier, positive 1. But that's not really the question. The question is, what's the factoring? What's it factored to? So it's these 2 guys plus the x minus 1 from earlier. So this is what they actually wanted.
Oh my gosh, Sebastian.
Quiet.
What?
Did you just get another problem? Alright, any questions? Can I scroll? Alright, 23. Okay, these last 2 are kind of beefy because it's x to the 4th, and that means there should be 4 answers normally, and that just makes it harder. So what are my possible answers? 60 over 1, right? Factors of 60 over 1. Okay, I'm going to write this down. See, it's 1, negative 4, negative 13, 28, 60. I Factors of 60 over factors of 1. Oh boy, 60 is a doozy. I suspect the reason we have 60 minutes an hour, 60 seconds in a minute is because 60 is highly divisible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, 20, 30, 60.
Oh, I remember.
Can't roll that.
Over.
1.
Just imagine if they put like 2 down there or something. That would give us, anyway, so I'm not gonna write it, but it's plus or minus all these things. Okay, I'm just gonna jump in here. So, I remember what the answers were, so I don't really wanna check all these, but here, I'll just like check one and just show it not work, and then we'll go back and fix it. Multiplying by 1, not too hard. Okay, doesn't come out of 0, so 1 is not a solution. So I don't think I think -2 worked if I remember right. Let me try that. So I don't think -1 worked, and I don't think +2, but it might have been +2, but I think it was -2. No, this is not. Okay, yeah, -2 did work. So I have 1 of 4 answers, but here's the problem on this 23 and 24. I like this. What I'm left with down here is still a cubic function, so I can't use like my factoring or quadratic formula trick yet. So I need to find another root that can go into this. And it's possible, you guys remember yesterday we had a triple root? It's possible -2 will work again. And in this case, I believe it does work again. So I'm going to see if -2 goes into this again. And I'm using my leftover from this stuff. So add down, multiply up. Yeah, -2 works twice. So -2 is like an answer twice. It's called a double root. But the good news is, to find my last 2 answers, I'm down to a quadratic. Whoops. Equation. So I can factor or use quadratic formula to find the last 2. What multiplies into 15 that adds up to -8?
-5 and -8.
And again, if I was saying, okay, what's the roots or what's the zeros of the function, it'd be 5 and 3. But actually, I'm just looking for the factors. If -2 is an answer, what's the factor that goes with it? X plus 2 and x plus 2. Or you can just put x plus 2 squared.
It's not wrong if you write it twice anyway.
No, in the other class I wrote it twice. Okay. Something I should probably warn you about is 22 has a fraction answer and 24 also. So good luck with that.